Okay, here we are at my favourite event in the entire universe. Thank you for all for coming to listen to us today. Right, time goes bloody fast and it's hot. And we've got our fans, some can fans actually here. We're here to give you value, right? We want you scribbling stuff down and ideally posting on LinkedIn later with all these top tips. Just a very brief one. I'm McHardy. I do business development for agencies. I run the links between those that need stuff and those that do stuff. I'm also the co-founder of the BD100 with Jodie Osman, who is handily taken front row seat. The BD100 is a community for agency business developers. And communities are great because you share those friction points with each other. It bonds us and gets us thinking about the brilliant ways that we do new business. Because frankly, it's a bloody hard market. We're all sending stuff out. And brands like Irem Innocent Drinks are buckling under the weight of our approaches. So, how do we cut through? Becky.
Hi.
You're our most recent rising star, so you're clearly doing a lot right. But what should we not be doing right now? So, baby, maybe.
Do you want to call me baby? That's fine.
We know each other so well. Yo, baby. Quickly, give us an overview of your role, your agency, and from that question point of view, like think about it as an indie agency. Tell us about what we should avoid in our approaches.
Yep, so I'm Becky Hipkiss. I'm the new business director at We Are Futures. So we are an agency that brings young people and brands together. So building positive impact for the young people and building advocacy for brands. In terms of what not to do, I feel like I'm quite a big believer in personalization. So I'd rather focus on quality over the quantity of outreach. I feel like marketing directors and brand managers respond to tailored messaging when they know that you understand what business challenge that they're facing, and it shows that they've been chosen for a reason rather than just added to a random list. And in terms of like our team, we take the time to really think and like research into what they're looking for. I feel like if you jump straight into the sell, that's just going to turn them off. You need to understand what their needs are first. And at the end of the day, prospecting isn't speed dating. Like if you slow down, you understand the context. I think the biggest tip a line manager ever gave me was you should listen way more than you talk, which if anyone knows me knows that's actually quite a hard thing to do. But actually, from an independent agency point of view, I've only ever worked for independent agencies, and I love it. I think it's really a superpower because it means that you can be super personal, super agile, and you don't want to ruin that vibe by being like a bit of a faceless machine.
Magic, thank you. Morning, Marie. Hello.
Hello.
So you were BD100's Rising Star in 2023, and about 2 weeks after that, your role went into like a stratospheric growth role.
So because of the BD100.
Yeah. I mean, the BD100 propelled you there, right?
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely
wonderful. But obviously, your star is still rising. But you know, how does a growth role differ from a BD role for those that are sort of looking at their career? And from your point of view, what are the key watch-outs? Because you know, on LinkedIn, you openly celebrate the magic of relationships, which I think is a beautiful thing. Where are the pitfalls, though?
Sure. I am Myreet Stanforth, and I have such an honor to be able to be the head of growth and marketing for our global markets at Ketchum. So I kind of come from the big agency perspective of what we do, and a lot of what I do with my teams is everything. I think anyone here who's in that BD role also has the role of growth, of marketing, of client growth, whatever it is. There's so many definitions to what we do, which means we can do everything. But a lot of times that's sales, and sales is scary. I also come from an American background of sales, and it's very different than how you would approach the UK. And I've had to unlearn what I know, and I've had to teach my teams to unlearn what they know about prospecting, and actually just get out there, be at events like this, and just make a friend. That's what I tell my most junior people. Your job is to make friends in this industry, which ultimately makes your job better. But that's their goal, is to make friends with new clients, but also keep dating their current clients and keep growing that because it's important, you know? Also, one other thing is when they're talking, they're buying. and if they're listening, they're judging. That's my like favorite quote, and then I just had to like play off of what you just said because that is so true.
That's very nice. Like that. That's getting written down maybe, probably by me, and then I start putting things on T-shirts. In my brain, never in reality, as many people know. Thank you very much. Hi, Irem.
Hello.
Hi. Look, we met here in 2023. A lot of what we're talking about today in terms of chatting to brands and approach is kind of how we met. I think you were warming up for your talk after lunch, and I was just hanging around, and we got talking. That's one way. So, look, without naming names, you must be on the receiving end of some pretty horrendous approaches, right? So I think one thing that everyone would love here today, if you're able to, is just tell us some of those horror stories. Yeah, go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Irem. I'm the Group Brand and Portfolio Director at Innocent Drinks. My team looks after the brand strategy, the comm strategy, and also the innovation delivery. And yes, Rich, I can say that I am on the receiving side of some really bad approaches. But first of all, thanks for inviting me. I think I'm representing the dark side, so how now to approach. But after this conversation, I'm hoping...
There's no dark side here.
I'm hoping it will be a bit lighter. So I think I can say many examples, but one or two things that really stood out with me is not knowing who the audience of my brand is. So I get lots of requests for sponsoring professional golf players or sometimes like boxing on DAZN. Whilst I want to think that Anthony Joshua really drinks innocent smoothies, I don't think it's really the right audience for us. But my absolute favorite, guys, the other day I was reached out for a collaboration and partnership with Star Trek. So whilst I want to believe that even in the future frontiers, the humans and aliens would like to drink the goodness of smoothies, I don't think it's really the right audience. So my message is, really look at the brands, look at their history, look at their archives, look at their website, look at their socials. Just go to the store and check their portfolio, what they're selling, and who that audience could be for that brand, and then really tailor your approach to the brand rather than sending generic emails. So I think my message is, if you can't really do your homework, I can't really trust you as an agency to solve a real problem for us. So I would say start with curiosity, not just your creds deck.
T-shirt. Curiosity, not creds deck. Okay, thank you very much. Right, ghosting, right? I would say it's one of the new business terms of 2025. So it's a scary word. It happens to all of us, wherever we are in the chain of business development. How do you avoid it, Becky?
So yeah, ghosting is not fun, but I feel like people ghost when they feel chased and not chosen. And if every message is an ask, so say that you're sharing a creds deck or you want to take them out for a coffee or you want a call, then it's really easy to ignore. Whereas I think, just like Irem said, like we always try and lead with insight and like sharing information that they'd find useful, or just approaching it with like genuine curiosity. Often, I mean, from our point of view, we often probe around like where young people actually fit into their strategy, or even if they've even thought about young people as a way to, reach parents, for example. And immediately that gets them thinking, and immediately the conversation is about them rather than us, which is, obviously super important. And if you do get ghosted, which obviously we do quite a lot, and I do it as well, just don't take it personally, because actually if you've, set up the connection right, often it's just timing. I've had leads that will just go quiet on me for like 6 months, and then 6 months later, they're like, oh, we've got this thing that actually We Are Futures could really help with. So I just think, like, always leave that door open.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, absolutely do not take it personally. Like, when I'm working with agency leaders, they're always like, yeah, but we never sort of seem to get cut through, and why has that person not responded? And it's like, well, they're bloody busy, so you just got to take your time and then, nudge it along, be patient. Totally with you. So, I mean, Myreet, right, you're at a big agency, part of a network, stuff just comes to you automatically, right? You don't need to worry about being ghosted.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, of course not. We have to work pretty hard for prospecting. We do a lot of thought leadership that we can actually turn for our clients and our prospects, which is really helpful. But of course, we get ghosted. I ghost too. I'm the person on the receiving end of a lot of sales pitches, and there's just such an opportunity in making it personal. Example, I got somebody sending me a box of chocolates. I mean, literally, like, followed up 6 times. At one point, they got my out of office that said I was going to my grandmother's funeral, and I made a big deal of it because she was an absolute badass. And, like, she is the reason I am on the stage, like, for a million reasons, right? You put it in your out of office, you're going to follow up with me 7 times. Respond to the out of office, sis, you know? She didn't do it. And I was amazed at how little people actually used the out of office for outreach back, because that's the moment you can go from not knowing someone to making it personal. So I guess hot tip is using out of offices, but it's also knowing your dream clients and your prospect profiles. Those for a big agency are different. A lot of people's, if you ask our teams who your dream client is, a lot of those Ketchum, Omnicom can't necessarily go after because they're not big enough to get the equal ROI. But we can create perfect prospect profiles where we identify those things ahead of time. Can they afford us? Do they align with our values? Can we bring something to them? Do we actually know what's keeping them up at night? And are we bringing something to them that's worth it? And a lot of times I kind of put a lens of, if it's not helpful, don't send it, because you're just gonna fill up emails at that point. So, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Brilliant perspective there. And Irem, look, brilliant, tasty, purpose-led brand that you represent. You know, you must be a magnet for hundreds of approaches. So how do you cope? Do you have scare tactics to frighten people away?
No, I don't have scare tactics, but you're right. Being the OG purpose-led brand and nation's icon, we get a lot of emails and phone calls and meeting requests and LinkedIn connections. So sometimes it can be a bit uncomfortable because it can be very persistent and they have lots of expectations from you. And you're like, I need to filter these. So I think another good example that I had the other day is where I had to ghost the person. I hope that person is not in the audience. I'm really sorry if you are. Really sorry. So they called me and they were talking about how they want to do experiential and events with us. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And they said they worked with us 2 years ago on Twitter for our vegetable pots. Disclaimer, we haven't used Twitter for 2 years and we don't sell vegetable pots. And when I said, no, we're not doing anything with vegetable pots or Twitter, the guy asked me, are you sure? So I was like, yeah, I think I am sure. So he was definitely ghosted and blocked, probably. So I would say that really think of like a drinker, like the consumer of that services, of the client, of the product, who they are, and try to solve a real problem for them rather than having a really generic approach. So if you're doing an experiential and events agency, really think of which festivals we want to show up, or just think of our new products, what's in the retail media, and just say, wow, we saw this product and we could do an amazing reach for you. So just really tailor that approach to solve a real client issue or a problem that you can think. So I would say definitely walk in the shoes, otherwise you'll be ghosted.
Love it. Yeah. Solve, don't sell. Hear that a lot in our industry. Okay, we're perfectly on time. Antoine's gone 5. I've got 11:06 at this stage, so we're rocking it. Right, to wrap, right, 3 key points each, because we've talked about a lot of what not to do, right? But I always like to go then nudging towards the positive. So, Irem, to start with, give us 3 key nuggets of brilliance of what to do.
I think it's a summary of everything I said. So first start with the brand and the audience. Look at the website, look at the social, look at YouTube. Just dig out everything that you can about the brand. And bonus points, if you're approaching me, try to also know me a bit better. What's my role within the organization and how might I be, connecting with you, and what's my pain points are. The second one is timing is so critical. I think most of agencies don't really think it from the client's perspective. Most clients, most brands have a really clear, well-structured annual business cycle. So if you are a business that is after a huge amount of budget for a big project, you need to be going after them before the budget for next year is locked, so that they really have you on top of their minds. But if you are thinking about sampling in summer, maybe approach it in March, because that's when the summer planning happens. So it's really understanding what's the calendar for the marketeers and where do you think your services could be at the front of the minds of the brands, and approach them at the right time. And the third one is a bit more personal, I think. Just really be considerate. I get, and I think lots of brands and marketeers get lots of cold calls. I think we should not be approaching with calls. I'm going to be a bit more black and white on this one, unless we met in an event personally and we exchanged numbers. So reach out, not in the weekday maybe, with an 11 a.m. call, but maybe just reach out on a Friday morning where we have a bit more headspace with a really clearly well thought through email and trying to solve a problem. So I would say those is my top 3.
Perfect, lovely. Okay, Becky, go for it.
I don't think I have 3, but my main one is just around energy. So I talk about this a lot internally, and I just think that energy is so important. I think it's not just about showing up for the big pitches, but actually a lot of the work is done before you even get in the pitch room. You want to be building that trust kind of before even the first email lands, kind of demonstrating your passion and your expertise. I mean, 2 of our biggest pitch wins last year with Team GB and Paralympics GB and Formula E, both of them cited that the biggest winning factor was actually the passion of the team and the enthusiasm, because at the end of the day, when you're an agency, you're an extension of that team, and that's what they're picking. So I just think people buy people, and if your energy and your passion and how you show up before that deck even hits it, that's what's going to be so important. They're buying your energy as much as your ideas, so I think you just need to show up with both.
Totally with that. Big heart on my notes for energy. Myreet, are you going to talk about biscuits?
I'll talk to
Do it.
Definitely
Biscuits.
More tactically on the energy side, going all in, is there's a psychology to what we do. It's a 360 approach. It's timing the dates. You're looking at their LinkedIn so they see your name pop up. It's doing deep profiles of your clients and figuring out that they love biscuits specifically from one airline, and maybe putting it in the office low-key, not right in front of them, just like on the side, so that when someone sees it, he's like, oh my God, I didn't know that you had this. This is my favorite biscuit. We knew. You put it in Twitter 3 years ago. And now you have the subconscious of loving us. That is my hot tip. And also using unsold gold, your ideas that you have not sold in, but you have in your pocket for outreach moments. Are those are my 3?
Absolutely magic. It's 11:10. My top tip is punctuality. And we have brought this in at 20 minutes precisely. Thank you, Irem. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Myreet. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's bloody hot.
Thank you.
I won't go back over all of those brilliant things, but I mean, I hope you got it all down. I mean, curiosity, not creds, choose, don't chase, bring the energy, get some biscuits in for those clients that you're chasing. Stay hydrated. It's going to be like 10 degrees less tomorrow, so stay hydrated and enjoy MadFest, because it's the best event ever. Thank you.